So in this video, I'm going to try to describe something into words that's not easily understood through words. Ego, overinflation of the ego and self. The true ego, in my opinion and in my experience, is the thing that is perceiving this now, experiencing this. You will create a overinflation of an ego, something that you really are not. But here's the thing with that. If you look at this like it's something separate from you and you're trying to go after it and kill it, then you're in for a rude awakening and a bad time. Because what this is here's an analogy. Again, I made this in another video. This right here, the 10%, the core ego is you. The overinflation, the other 90%, is things that you've built up over your teenage years up until your early 20s. So this thing does need to be killed, but you can't look at it like I need to kill it. This is that's a mistake that I've made, and you need to, hopefully you can pick up on it and learn from me and walk forward from my misadventures, you could say, is me getting lost, is these parts of you need to be addressed, loved, and healed. H-E-A-L-E-D, healed. Like, you need to love it and heal it, because these are not separate from you. Here's a distinction you need to make. There is no division. This is something you need to get here. There is no division. So once you start differentiating yourself from your ego, from the overinflation of the ego, from God, from Christ, from self, you have fell into a miserable trap you're going to regret falling into. So the way to look at this, instead of saying I need to kill this and destroy it, is you need to accept and love it. And what happens when you accept and love this part of you is that part of you will disappear. It will disintegrate back into, it'll burn off, as to say, back into the real you, that 10% right here. That's what you want, my friend. So that is how you need to play it. If you're playing this from a point of division or a point of disdain or hate, or I need to kill this part, you're going to be in for, again, a rude awakening. It doesn't happen like that. I made a video about 5 months ago. I went back and watched this for this video in particular, where I was talking about ego and overinflation and things like this. And I misspoke about a lot of things, and I did not have it together completely to even be able to comprehend what I was talking about. And I want to put an asterisk on this. A lot of the things I come here and tell you and talk about to you guys, I'm coming from it from a point of view to where I'm at that current moment. 5-6 months from then, I can come back to this and realize I was wrong, I was incorrect, and I was looking at it from a deluded and wrong point of view. So in that video, I pretty much said you want to kill the ego, the overinflation of the ego, but I was not coming at that in the right way. And if you look later on, I go back and I reiterate that, and I'm like, you cannot kill this. What you need to do is you need to love it, accept it, and figure out what the issue was at that point to be able to go further. So a lot of the overinflation of the ego comes from trying to fit in, being hurt, being scared, being afraid, being negative towards things. And that's the wrong way to look at life, my friend. Wrong way to look at life. what you need to realize is that part of me I created because I thought this part of me needed that part of me. So you need to unravel in your mind where it went off the rails and connect that and love that and fix that. This is the thing most people don't want to appreciate and understand. And this can go from Christians, Buddhists, atheists, or spiritual people. They feel like that their acceptance of things is going to make it better overnight. It's absolutely not. This is a process. It's a process. This is something that I've noticed that is weird to say now, looking back at my past videos and my past journey. The happiest people I've ran into in life is people that believe in God and people that trust in Christ or Buddha or Muhammad or etc. And why is that? Why do you think that's the case? And I can tell you from my personal opinion and outlook on it why it's the case. And I'm going to get back into this true self and ego and overinflation of the ego. But what I truly think is the people that have found God and found Christ or Buddha or Muhammad or insert whoever there, they're happy because they feel like their life is fulfilled and there's something higher looking out for them. The only issue, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, again, a very big asterisk next to this, I can only tell you what I know so far and what I've experienced so far. I don't want to portray myself as something I'm not. So, I'm not a guru. I'm not a prophet. Some people would disagree with me with these things, but I'm just telling you from my opinion, I'm not a guru. I'm not a prophet. I'm none of this. What I am is a motivational speaker that has hit rock bottom, went to the depths of my own mind, and can come back and tell you what's happening the best I can. I have broke reality, and I have came back to explain to you what can make it better. But you could do the same thing. You can do the same thing. If I can do it, you can do it. So keep that in mind. That's the main holdup, my friend, is if I express something to you that I found out and realized, it is not truth to you until you find out and realize it. So I can come to you and tell you, for an example, that you are the Son of God. Not only are you the Son, but you're the Father. And that would seem fucking bananas to you, correct? That would seem bananas to you. But it's the truth. It's the truth as I see it thus far in my experience in reality. So, how do you portray that? So let's tie this back into the self, the overinflation, the ego and the overinflation of the ego, correct? Let's place this together. So the true self, there is no difference in that true self. This is something that's going to be hard to comprehend until you can comprehend it. There is no difference, no division in that true self and that true ego and the overinflation of the ego. What you need to pinpoint and be able to comprehend in your own mind is you have created those parts of you. That is the overinflation. And you have to be able to go back and address that and look directly into the darkness and know why you've done it. Know why you've created this part of you. Know why you've ended up the way you've ended up. Because I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert here, it's a game. You're playing a game. It's called hide and seek. A divine game of hide and seek. But more so than that, you're going to look back upon it and think and realize that the biggest majority of the things that you've done to create that overinflation of the ego is out of hurt, out of anxiety, out of being scared, out of being vulnerable. So when you can melt away that 90% and you can get back down to the core of who you really are, then the ego in turn becomes the self. And you are correct. The ego is what causes a lot of issues in your life. But you also have to be able to differentiate the difference between ego, core ego, and self, because the core ego and self coincides perfectly. The main issue here is the overinflation of the ego. So you're looking back on your past experiences, and what you've been told through insert whoever here, whether it be a guru or someone like David Goggins or someone like me in the past that has told you to kill the ego. And you think that is a bad thing, the ego. But again, the overinflation is the bad thing. And the overinflation comes from, again, a culmination of you wanted that to happen, you're playing a game, and you have past trauma, you have past hurt that you have built this thing upon. So you need to go in. The worst way to look at life is it's me against them, or me against that. Or, I know I've said it's a game and it's you against you, and that's true, but listen to me. If you think you're going to win the game by saying it's me versus X person, whether it's even you, like it's me versus me, you're fucked. You're fucked. You have to go within the depths of your own mind, into the darkness of your soul, and figure out and pinpoint what the fuck happened and fix that. And you're not going to fix it by saying, I'm going to kill that part of me, or I'm going to destroy it, or that part of me is a bitch. You know, David Goggins, that part of me is a bitch. You can't do that. You are not going to be truly happy and fulfilled if you look at that like that. That's what I'm really trying to say here. It is, you have to love and accept it. And again, in loving and accepting this part of you, you're going to be able to heal it. Heal, heal it. And when you heal it, that part of you will burn away. If that makes sense to you. So, you eventually have to come to the truth, my friend. And the truth is that there is no division. You are the ego, you are the self, you are God, you are Christ, you are the devil. There's no easy way to put this to people, but it's the truth. Everything that you're experiencing right now is a portrait of you. The way you're seeing reality right now is a reflection of you. Your true self, at the very core of you, is God. Your experience right now that you're experiencing is the mind that is creating reality. So, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to proceed with that? You eventually have to realize love is the answer. Love is the answer. You can't kill this. You can't hate this. You can't go against it. Even though your mind will tell you that's the way to go, it's not the case. There will be a certain point in your life, in time that you're experiencing this, that you realize that yourself has been trying to break you out of your overinflation of self, or ego, you could say. You're playing a game. You're playing a game. And the question is, when's the game over? And what happens when the game ends? That's something I've been struggling with a lot. is what happens when the game is completed and over, and you admit the game is completed and over, and you admit that you're the thing causing the game to happen. Then what? Again, I'm just coming to you and telling you things that I've directly experienced that could help you out. And I'm coming to you and telling you things that would benefit you if you realized and put it together. I hope this doesn't seem all over the place, even though it probably will, because I have no... It's hard to put into words. Reach out to me personally. I mean, you can talk on the phone or messenger or whatever, and I can try to guide you further from there. But the overinflation and ego will fuck you. The true ego will not fuck you. The true ego will guide you and help you. And that true ego is the true self. If that makes any sense at all. Again, think of the ego as the son. Think of the true self as the father. And they are connected deeply. The bigger question you should be asking yourself, aside from this, because this is an excellent question. There's very few questions that make me really think and not just jump to an answer. And this is a great question, but here's the real question. What happens when you become your true self and the game's over? Because once you realize who you are and what you're capable of, and once you realize that once you follow through with what you're capable of and who you really are, that the game will end. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because listen, this is the game thus far, to the best of my understanding. We come here, we lose ourselves, we believe we're a human, we believe we're separate from everything, and then eventually we find ourselves. And we're happy again, and that's heaven, that's ecstasy, that's paradise, that's everything any religion has ever told you is going upon. So what happens when that's over? What happens when you admit who you really are? And what happens when you become who you really are? And the game ends. What then happens? Do we all merge into one and start this over again? Do we bring heaven on earth here for 1,000 years? What happens? That's something I've been conflicted with for a while, because you guys know that if you watch me, you'll know that my mother has stage 4 colon cancer. And Blake Ratliff, again, this, Luke, I'm sorry, this is all over the place, my friend, but this is going to coincide with the ego. I've not been Blake Ratliff for 2 years now. In fact, I fully understood Blake Ratliff as a character. 2 years ago, Blake Ratliff died. A year ago, Christ took over the body of Blake Ratliff. So, what happens when I do what I know can be done? What happens when I go out here and heal my mother? What happens when I can go out here and move mountains and walk on water? What then happens to the game we're playing? Is it for the best or for the worst? And I think about this, and I come at this from a place of, is it personal egoic shit that I'm doing? Like, am I only doing this, and this is only happening to coincide with the void, with Christ, with my mother getting cancer? Or is this going to... My true intention is to help everyone. My true intention is to bring heaven to earth. Merge heaven and earth together. And bear fruit that will last. That's my true intention. But there's a part of me that looks at it and is like, man, is this personal shit? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But that's something I'm considering, and I'm kind of in a I'm in a delay about it, you could say, because what happens if I admit who I am? What happens if I fully admit and embrace who I am, and I fully bring what's coming here? Then what happens? What happens to the game? But I hope this answered your question. Please, again, reach out to me. My Facebook is Blake Ratliff. It is a picture of a man walking through a tunnel, and the caption reads, "The tunnel is not the illusion." I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel is not an illusion. The tunnel is. You have my email address. I will give you my phone number if you need it. Anything you need, my friend, I'm here for you. But ego is not a problem. The overinflation of the ego is the problem. And coming at this from a place of division is a big problem. That's how we're in the mess we're in right now. But I love you, Luca, my brother. I wish you nothing but the best. Please keep in touch with me so we can discuss these things and I can guide you through this to the best of my ability. And to everyone else, including Luca, it's a game of form and the play of life. I am you talking to you. I have always been you talking to you. Realize this and wake up. I love you.